Chloe, my wife, was celebrating with her male best friend at the company when I dragged my suitcase, left a divorce agreement, and walked out of our home. Before leaving, I even made sure to post on Twitter, "I'm leaving, freeing up space for you too." Half an hour later, she called, "Ethan, are you done with your tantrum yet?" I couldn't help but sneer. "Once I don't want you anymore, I won't care who you're with." As a result, she got impatient at 1. On my birthday, I drove my wife to work. Before she got out of the car, I asked her, "It's my birthday today, come home early. I have something to tell you." After a long silence, she still nodded. "Chloe and I have been married for 3 years. She is an executive at a listed tech company, while I am a freelancer in design, taking on projects here and there with a decent income, though far less than Chloe's. As a man, most people would feel pressure knowing their wife earns more, but I never did. I've known Chloe since I was 16. It was love at first sight. Back then, I had just started high school, and she returned to our school as an outstanding alumna to give a speech. The delicate profile of that young girl lingered in my mind. After the speech, I wanted to take a photo with her, but the crowd was so dense I couldn't push through. In desperation, I could only yell, "Hey, macchiato girl." She turned back with a smile, and I pressed the shutter, capturing the moment forever. I followed in her footsteps and got admitted to the same prestigious university, becoming her junior schoolmate. I pursued her for 3 years before she finally agreed to date me, and if her family hadn't pressured her to marry, I would never have had the chance to marry her. Only after we married did I realize that some people's hearts can never be warmed. Today is my birthday, and I specially ordered a cake and prepared a few dishes, waiting for her to come home. But from 6 in the afternoon until 9 at night, she never returned. I couldn't help but call her, but no one ever picked up. Just as I was growing impatient, Leo sent a video. In the footage, Chloe had her arm around him as they hugged and laughed together, surrounded by her colleagues. Everyone was in high spirits, even popping champagne. "Ethan, Chloe just sealed the Orange Grove project and we're celebrating. Don't be a buzzkill." Leo's message shattered the last sliver of hope in my heart. I should have known long ago that Chloe always put me dead last. I didn't respond, just reheated the meal, ate alone, then lit a candle, blew it out, and made a wish. At 16 I wished to stay with Chloe forever. At 26, I wished to let her go, and to free myself too. Over a year ago I'd already noticed something unnatural between Chloe and Leo. He was her work husband, Leo being her first choice when Chloe was tired. For cases Chloe couldn't handle, Leo would step in and always save her significant effort. At first, I thought Leo was just her capable assistant, but I never expected the look in his eyes when he watched her wasn't entirely innocent. The interactions between the two of them had already crossed the boundaries of ordinary friendship, and I kept receiving anonymous messages frequently, with my phone filled to the brim with their intimate photos. For the first time, panic welled up inside me as I confronted Chloe, but she only seemed impatient. "Ethan, it's just a hug. We're friends. Stop making a scene." I told Chloe to keep her distance from him, even going so far as to arrange for someone to hug me in front of her just to provoke a reaction. But Chloe saw through me and gave me the cold shoulder for a whole week. She made it crystal clear with her actions that threats were useless against her. After that outburst, I never made another scene. I just secretly vowed to myself that once I'd collected 100 photos, I would leave. I haven't even reached 100 yet, but I can't bear it any longer. Each photograph is like a small knife, carving bloody, raw wounds all over my body. At midnight that night, Chloe still hadn't returned. The birthday had already passed, and what I needed to say no longer needed to be said. I packed my bags, left the signed divorce papers behind, and turned away without hesitation. Some things, if not done now, will never get done. The next morning, I took the earliest flight to Boston, not just to clear my mind, but for something far more important. 2. Mr. Cole, Massachusetts General Hospital has the most renowned neurosurgery specialists in the United States. If you go there, you might still have a chance. This was the doctor's suggestion to me. "There's a tumor growing in my brain, and lately I've been frequently fainting. Sometimes everything goes dark before my eyes, and I can't see a thing. The doctor says the tumor is pressing on my optic nerve and could eventually lead to blindness. I don't want to die so soon, but the condition is more severe than I imagined. All I can do is try to delay it as long as possible. As for Chloe, better forget about her." The moment I got off the plane, Chloe's call came through. "What do you mean, Ethan? What are you making a scene about?" Her voice carried a hint of hoarseness and suppressed anger. I raised an eyebrow and looked at the sky clear blue, lifting my mood along with it. "Chloe, yesterday was my birthday." The other end of the line caught its breath before hastily replying, "I'm sorry, I know you landed the Orange Grove deal. Congratulations." Surprisingly, my mood was extraordinarily calm at this moment. "Just sign the papers. I'll come back in a month to finalize the procedures." Contrary to expectations, Chloe wasn't angry. Instead, she said calmly, "You're in a bad mood. It's good for you to take a trip. Divorce is out of the question." The call had already ended on the other side, and I couldn't help but smile bitterly. Right after that, my phone buzzed with a transfer notification. She had sent me $20,000, enough to cover a month's worth of eating, drinking, and merrymaking. thinking, what a pity, I no longer have any time left. After completing the hospital formalities, I visited my alma mater. This is our shared alma mater, hers and mine. Back then, to follow Chloe, I studied relentlessly to get into this top-tier university, where I spent 4 years of my life. Looking back now, it feels like everything happened just yesterday. It's still the same familiar tree-lined avenue. Walking here reminds me of how I used to orchestrate chance encounters with her on this very path. Chloe would always smile faintly and say, Ethan, we've bumped into each other 3 times today. Is there something you want to tell me? My face turned crimson, and after struggling for ages, I finally blurted out, do you like steak? I could make some for you. Accustomed to flowers and luxury gifts, Chloe never expected me to offer to cook for her. A perfectly seared steak completely won her over. Later, when we officially got together, it was also at the dinner table. She wiped her lips and asked me, shall we give it a try? A sharp pain shot through my head, and I instantly crouched down. The pain spread through my skull, plunging my vision into darkness once again. I quickly swallowed 2 pills, taking quite a while before finally recovering. Just then, my phone buzzed with a message. It was from that number again. You think hiding out will solve everything? Ethan, just give it up. This was the first message he'd sent me since those photos surfaced. Apparently he's getting anxious too. Ha! I'm done with this. I blocked that number, wandered across campus alone to leave behind my final memories, then headed to the hospital to check in. They shaved my head for treatment convenience. Staring at the sallow-faced man in the mirror, I felt a pang of bitterness. The other party still refused to give up, persistently sending me messages from different numbers. I couldn't take it anymore until he sent me a video. Chloe and Leo were in the bar, bathed in dim lighting. Their intimate gestures, fingers intertwined, and those smiles stabbed at my heart. Chloe, so this is what you meant by taking my mind off things, making it easier for you to have fun? I took a deep breath. Another message came through, just back off. You don't deserve her. How amusing. I've already stepped back, but Chloe doesn't seem willing to let go. Well, as a female executive of a listed company, if any scandalous news were to leak out, her entire career would be ruined. Pathetic. This anonymous whistleblower clearly didn't consider this aspect. No, he did think of it, he just doesn't care. Or perhaps, he assumed I would choose to endure silently and file for divorce privately, which is why he dared to act so recklessly. Clown. I ignored him and blocked this new number without a second thought. 3. When Chloe called me, I had just swiped her card for over $50,000. Between the surgery and all the miscellaneous fees, it was certainly no small sum. The attending physician looked at me with a reassuring smile and said, don't worry kid, we'll get through this together. My nose tingled with emotion, and I nearly broke down in tears. From Seattle to Boston, I had been completely alone. After being admitted to the hospital, when the doctors and nurses learned I'd come by myself, their eyes filled with pity. I never expected that while being alone in a foreign place, strangers would show me so much warmth, treating me with exceptional kindness all alone. It was right at this moment that Chloe called me. Ethan, how are you doing over there? After spending all that money, are you feeling better now? Her tone was icy cold. Even through the phone signal, I could sense her bad mood. What? Feeling sorry for yourself? Not really. Chloe paused for a moment before continuing. When are you coming back? Mom and Dad keep asking where you've gone. It's been a whole week already. I've done everything I wanted to do, and just checked into the hospital today. Of course I'm not going back. Just then, the nurse's voice came through. Bed 28, time for your blood draw. You're in the hospital? Chloe's words made me laugh bitterly. Seems like she hasn't been home at all these past few days. Had she ever come home, she would have found my diagnostic report lying on the living room coffee table. Not feeling well, came for a checkup. Chloe, you haven't been home these days? I waited for her explanation, just one reasonable explanation, and I'd believe her. Chloe was silent for a moment before saying, work's been busy lately. Living at the company? Or with Leo? This wasn't a question, but a statement. Because right then, several more photos appeared on my phone, their timestamps showing they were taken last night. Chloe was sound asleep, with a man holding her in his arms. The two lay entwined, sleeping peacefully, a picture of domestic bliss. At this sight, I couldn't help but laugh coldly. Sign the divorce papers. Consider these $50,000 our property settlement. Chloe flew into a rage. Don't even think about it. Ethan, what the hell are you doing? I told you, we're just friends. You've been cooped up at home too long, it's rotting your brain. I'm warning you, enough is enough, just drop it already. I didn't feel the slightest anger. Chloe, if I died someday, would you be sad? No. Ethan, come back, we need to talk. I sighed. Why does getting divorced have to be so troublesome? I was about to hang up when Leo's voice came through. Chloe, is he doubting me again? Ugh, I knew I shouldn't have come back. I told you, Ethan is just so narrow-minded. Don't mind him. I think he's had it too good for too long. I didn't listen to what they said next and simply hung up the phone. A dull pain surged in my head. Fighting against the dizziness, I opened Twitter and posted, I'm leaving, making space for you all. I even tagged Chloe and Leo. I'm a sick person, so just consider me petty if you will. Chloe had just secured the Orange Grove project. My action could instantly jeopardize the collaboration between the two companies. While waiting for the test results, I went to the small garden behind the hospital, took a few selfies, and casually posted them to my Instagram story. The sunshine is nice, the view here is truly special. Right after I said this, Chloe's call came through. Ethan, you make me sick. Are you really determined to ruin me? Why don't you just die? Hearing Chloe's curses through the phone, I didn't react immediately, I just felt something inside me break with a crack. Then, I thought I heard someone calling for a doctor, and Chloe's impatient voice, Ethan, what act are you putting on now? When I woke up again, the doctor looked at me with a very grave expression. Ethan, where are your family members? I don't have any. You can tell me, I can handle it. My parents divorced when I was 10, each forming new families. All these years, I've been entirely on my own. Growing accustomed to solitude, naturally, I've grown accustomed to handling everything alone. Hearing this, the doctor's eyes flickered with sympathy once more before he said, the test results aren't promising. The tumor in your brain is growing exceptionally fast. If we proceed with surgery, the survival rate is only 30%. But if we don't operate, my heart sank as I looked at him. Tell me, how long do I have left? The doctor pressed his lips together. Without intervention, 3 months, possibly even less. I know 3 months might even be an optimistic estimate, this thing grows too fast. The episodes have been occurring more frequently lately, progressing from initial dizziness to headaches and even brief blindness now. I realized the doctor wasn't exaggerating. Mr. Cole, you're still young, stay positive. The doctor's encouragement drew a faint smile from me. Nodding, I still opted for the surgery. A 30% chance is still worth gambling for. When I requested the surgery, the doctor quickly formulated a surgical plan for me. All I needed to do was fully cooperate. However, such a major operation required a family member's signature, but I insisted on signing it myself. I even wrote a disclaimer stating that the hospital wouldn't be held responsible if anything went wrong. By the time all this was done, it was already the third day. The internet was ablaze with discussions about Chloe and me. Some even went as far as posting our wedding photos and pictures of her with Leo. It instantly caused a huge outcry. I'm in the hospital and rarely check my phone, but I still caught the news alerts. I swear those photos weren't leaked by me, yet seeing them still made my eyes sting with pain. The next second, excruciating pain shot through my head. Unable to bear it, I hunched over like a shrimp, my entire body drenched in cold sweat. In the photos, Chloe was revealing a delicate shoulder while Leo buried his face against her neck. Their intimate closeness left no doubt they were truly entangled. My face turned pale with pain under the covers, darkness swimming before my eyes when Chloe's call came through again. Summoning every ounce of strength, I lifted my hand to answer as Chloe's voice crashed through the line. Have you lost your damn mind? Get your ass back here right now. You'd better explain this mess immediately. They've suspended me over this shit, Ethan. Happy now, are you? I bit my lip and said through the unbearable pain, Chloe, let's get divorced. Once you're free from me, you can be with him openly. Why keep deceiving yourself? You wish, Ethan, even if you die, you'll still be mine. She hung up the phone, and I could no longer hold on. I blacked out. When I woke up, the ward was eerily quiet. Lifting my head, I noticed my vision was blurry and immediately called for the doctor. Mr. Cole, your condition can't wait any longer, it's progressing alarmingly fast. Hearing this, I fell silent. 15 minutes later, I finally resolved to undergo the surgery. No matter what, I wouldn't regret it. When Chloe scolded me, I didn't feel angry, just a pang of regret. She hadn't divorced me yet, but now the internet was flooded with condemnation, dragging me down as an object of pity. I actually don't want too much attention, I just don't want to give that photo poster the satisfaction. Half an hour later, I was wheeled into the operating room and anesthesia began. What happened after that I don't know. When I opened my eyes again, I was already back home in Seattle. The moment I saw Chloe, I froze. How did I get back? Had the surgery succeeded? Chloe, Before I could finish, Chloe stood up and walked toward me, only to pass straight through my body. I froze, too terrified to utter a sound. It took me a long while to realize she couldn't see me. 5. I gazed at my own hands, wanting to touch Chloe, yet grasped only emptiness. In that instant, I was utterly dumbfounded. I was dead on the operating table. The tumor was larger than the doctors had anticipated. The moment they opened the skull, the compressed blood vessels ruptured. The resuscitation efforts failed. The 30% chance of a miracle didn't happen for me. I was momentarily stunned, then remembered I wasn't actually divorced yet. What a pity poor Chloe would have to make another trip. Because of my tweet, netizens went into full-on doxing mode, causing Chloe quite a bit of trouble. Just like now, she impatiently opened the door, letting Leo in as the two discussed how to deal with the crisis at hand. I didn't want to listen and was about to drift away when I heard Leo say, having Ethan come forward to clarify would be more effective than the two of us saying 10,000 words. Offer him money, whatever conditions he wants, otherwise, your position is at risk. How many people in the company are eyeing your spot? Ask me to step forward? I'm afraid that's not possible anymore. I'm already dead, how can I help you? I sat on the sofa, watching Chloe call me over and over. Only, my phone had been switched off the whole time. That's right, I'm already dead, who could possibly charge my phone now? Chloe's face grew darker with anger, and she couldn't help but slam the phone down. Bastard, he did this on purpose. Even now, she still blames me. Still, I'm rather curious, what happened to my medical report? I glanced around the room but couldn't spot that sheet of paper, though I clearly remembered leaving it on the table before I left. Seeing Chloe's anger, Leo patted her shoulder and said, Chloe, let's just make it official. Chloe suddenly raised her head. What did you say? Only this way can we smoothly get through this crisis. Ethan not answering his phone clearly shows he doesn't care. Since he's not coming back, let's just. Chloe cut him off. No, not now. I looked at her, somewhat surprised. I had initially thought they'd already crossed that final boundary, I believe even an official announcement at this point. But Chloe actually refused. A shadow flickered through Leo's eyes. Chloe, have you fallen for him? Back then, you only got married to reassure your uncle and aunt. I froze for a moment, then smiled bitterly. Yes, I'd known from the very beginning, it was all just going through the motions. I pursued Chloe for 3 years before she finally agreed to date me. After graduation, fearing she might break up with me, I followed her to settle in Seattle. I took on every job I could find, desperately trying to save up for a grand wedding. On the day I proposed, Chloe said, Ethan, I'm not interested in all that. Marriage is just paperwork, let's sign at City Hall and grab dinner. Keep it simple. At the time, I felt a bit regretful, but the thought of Chloe soon becoming my wife made me agree in the end. On the day we registered our marriage, I grinned like a fool, secretly took a photo of us together, developed it, and hid it in our album. After marriage, we didn't interact much with her parents, just the occasional phone call reminding me to take good care of Chloe. Now that I'm dead, Chloe has suddenly become a widow. It's such a dreadful term. Her family must be furious. Chloe took a deep breath and said, give me some time to think this through. Chloe, if you keep hesitating, I'm afraid the company might completely drop you. Leo's words made me curious. Are netizens really that omnipotent? Or did the two of them already cross moral boundaries to be together? Otherwise, how could it be this serious? Chloe still insisted on her own opinion. After sending Leo away, she had just sat down when a call came in. I looked over and saw my own name displayed on the caller ID. Wait, that can't be right. I'm already dead. How could I possibly be calling her? After answering, Chloe regained her usual detached composure. Ethan, haven't you made enough of a scene already? Hello, is this Mrs. Cole? This is Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston. Mr. Cole's surgery failed, and despite all efforts to save him, he has passed away. Please come to complete the necessary procedures. I could hear the voice coming from the phone. It was from the hospital. Perhaps they had found my phone, charged it, and managed to contact Chloe. I had her saved as wife in my contacts, so they were able to reach her so quickly. After hearing the news, Chloe turned pale and was left speechless for a long time. Are you still there? I am. So, you're saying his surgery failed? Chloe managed to force out the words. There was silence on the other end for a few seconds before the voice continued. The brain tumor has spread, and the surgery failed. He said he had no family and signed the surgical consent forms himself. Now we need you to come and take him home. Hanging up the phone, Chloe was completely stunned. After confirming it wasn't a prank, I watched as her face gradually turned ashen. Then, like a madwoman, she bolted out the door. I felt myself inexplicably pulled along, following her outside. 3 hours later, when Chloe saw my body in Boston, she finally believed I was dead. The moment I saw that corpse, even I was shocked. His hair had been completely shaved off, and the stitched scars remained on his scalp. Though cleaned, the mark still lay there like an ugly centipede. The anesthesia took effect during the surgery. That was my last memory in this world. I only remember the doctor encouraging me, Ethan, come on, let's create a miracle together. I smiled at him and dozed off within seconds. Before losing consciousness, I was still thinking dying like this wouldn't be so bad. At least there wouldn't be much pain, and no more suffering either. Heaven was still kind to me. Even though my condition worsened quickly, I didn't suffer much, though I didn't have time to completely cut ties with Chloe. Before the surgery, I had already made up my mind if I didn't die, I'd travel the world, seeing its wonders and forgetting all those unhappy memories. And if I died, so be it. I donated all my remaining money anyway. You can't take it with you when you go. Looking at myself under the white sheet, I laughed. So this is how I look. Aside from the slightly ugly hairstyle, the rest isn't bad. Chloe fainted on the spot. When she woke up again, she said nothing, silently dressing me, handling the cremation, and after completing all the formalities, she returned with my ashes. Seeing her dazed and listless state, I couldn't help but sigh. Chloe, forget it. Just scatter me somewhere random. I can still travel with the wind. Don't be sad. Surgery always carries risks. My dying is perfect, isn't it? Now you can be with him openly and properly. Leo didn't accompany her here. He called several times along the way, but Chloe didn't answer a single one. Watching Chloe like this, I felt a pang of surprise. Was she grieving for me? Or for herself? I wanted to stay, yet I couldn't bear to leave her, so I had no choice but to follow her back. Chloe picked out a nice grave plot for me, expensive and spacious, all paid for with her money. The only thing is, she bought a double plot, which I found somewhat ominous. I'd rather be alone. But those who don't pay have no right to be picky. On the day of the burial, she was the only one there, her eyes red-rimmed and silent. After returning home, she clutched my portrait to her chest and lay on the sofa, refusing to eat or drink. Seeing her like this, I couldn't help but chuckle. What's the point? I'm already dead. Who are you putting on this performance for? I shook my head, feeling like I couldn't quite figure her out. She stayed like this for 3 days. I couldn't take it anymore and tried to leave, but when I reached the door, an invisible force pushed me back. Sigh, if she won't go, then I can't either. Chloe, just go already. I still want to see this world. I stood before Chloe, waving my hand in front of her eyes. Suddenly, she stared straight at me, startling me so much I nearly stumbled. Chloe, there was no reaction. Well, at least she couldn't see me. 7. Chloe rummaged around the house for traces of me. Before I left, I had taken all my belongings except for the diary left on the bookshelf. Watching her head toward the study, I grew anxious. But then I realized, what difference did it make now? At this point, hiding things was meaningless. Soon, Chloe discovered the diary in the bookshelf. She opened it and glanced inside, and her eyes instantly reddened. March 1st, Chloe saw me today, she still remembers me. So wonderful. March 4th, I waited for 2 hours on this street today, and finally caught sight of her. I asked her out to dinner, and she agreed. March 5th, Chloe told me she was busy and not to waste my time. Heartbreaking, she saw right through me. But I won't give up. This diary is written by me, and it's titled The Days I Spent with Chloe. It chronicles every little moment between her and me, all the way back to before I left for Boston. On November 3rd, another photograph arrived, this one featuring Chloe and Leo locked in a close embrace, their intimacy palpable. I'd made up my mind, when I received the 100th photo, I'll say goodbye to Chloe, so as not to hold her back from finding her own happiness. On November 4th, that number sent me 2 more photos, this time, even more explicit. Chloe had promised to come back for dinner, but she ended up going to a Western restaurant with Leo again. On November 8th, I bought Chloe a gift, but she never unwrapped it. November 9th, the medical report came out, and the results weren't good. Should I tell her? I watched as Chloe's tears fell like rain, clutching that diary and sobbing uncontrollably. Unable to hold back a sigh, I blew a gentle breath toward her. A gust of wind swept by, startling Chloe, who immediately looked around in alarm. Is that you? Ethan, is it you? She lay on the ground, fragile as a glass doll. I shrugged, it's all in the past. I'm not mad at you anymore. Leo arrived a week later and was shocked to see Chloe in such a state. How did you end up like this? Chloe shook her head. What are you doing here? Chloe, did you even take what I told you last time to heart? This is the company's decision regarding you. If you just accept it like this, all your years of hard work will go to waste. What he brought was a notice of termination from the company, along with a demand for compensation. But when Chloe saw these, she didn't seem to care. She just set the documents aside and then softly said, "You did this." Leo froze instantly. What? Chloe took out my phone and handed it over. I simply couldn't understand why he was so determined to divorce me, even going so far as to leave for another country alone to have the surgery. Now I understand everything. It was you. Leo, you provoked him, having people take these photos and send them to him every single day, didn't you? I remember only you ever used this number. As for these photos, apart from you, I truly can't imagine a third person who would know about them. When Chloe saw the photos on my phone, her face darkened abruptly. How could she not know? Who wouldn't be furious seeing this kind of photo? She collapsed limply onto the ground. No wonder. He asked me to come home early on his birthday, said he had something to tell me. But you insisted on dragging me to celebrate the project victory. Even said, what's a birthday compared to the project's importance? Ethan must have been utterly disappointed and heartbroken to choose leaving like this. Leo, you make me sick. Facing her accusation, Leo remained silent for a long moment before sneering, Chloe, you're such a hypocrite. Chloe stared at him in shock, never expecting him to say such words. Listening from the side, I actually found some truth in what he said. It's never that easy to want this, that, and everything else at once. Leo continued to provoke her. You don't even love him. What's the point of interrogating me now? Aren't your job and your future what you truly care about? Don't tell me you're standing up for him now. I was just making a suggestion. The decision was yours to make. He tightly gripped Chloe's arms, his face burning with emotion. We promised to strive together, and now you're wasting away over some man. Look at yourself. He dragged Chloe into the bathroom, forcing her head toward the mirror. Staring at the exhausted woman in the mirror, Chloe suddenly let out a bitter laugh. Leo, I knew from the beginning that we were both using each other, but Ethan isn't the kind of insatiable person you are. He's nothing like you. Leo froze at her words, then burst into loud laughter. Insatiable? So that's how you see me? Really, Chloe? And what about you? Acting all high and mighty while clawing your way up. Don't think I don't know what you've done. Chloe whipped around to face him, eyes blazing with fury. You think I didn't know you got with the department head's daughter to advance your career? I just took a wrong step and turned back in time. Leo couldn't help but sneer. We were just using each other for mutual benefit. Right now, I'm talking about your career, your future. I simply don't want to see you continue down this path. A man isn't worth it. The online backlash, I've already hired a PR team to handle it. But it still requires you to make a statement. If you don't, our project will be completely ruined. The company values this collaboration highly. I hope you'll consider the bigger picture. Chloe looked at him. You should go back. But Leo refused to leave. Give me a straight answer. I absolutely cannot miss this opportunity again. I've waited so long for this day. If I have to start over because of these baseless accusations? Chloe couldn't hold back any longer and slapped him across the face. Baseless? If you hadn't been scheming behind his back and provoking him, why would he have posted that tweet? The slap across Leo's face completely enraged him. He rudely shoved Chloe to the ground. I was shocked and furious, rushing forward to stop him, only to find my hands couldn't reach him at all. Leo, how dare you? Watching Chloe on the ground, Leo's eyes were filled with disdain. What? Throwing a tantrum now? And who are you to talk? Weren't you the one giving me misleading hints, signaling for me to get close to you in the first place? Stop pretending to be innocent now. Everyone knows how you got promoted to executive, what you did to get there. Leo threw down a piece of paper. If you don't issue a statement, I'll drag us both down if I have to. He stormed out, slamming the door. Curious, I knelt to look at the paper and my mind went blank with shock. It was a written pledge, in Chloe's handwriting. During university, Chloe went as far as submitting herself to a professor to obtain some experimental data, only to be caught by the professor's wife and forced to sign this written pledge. I took 2 steps back, shaking my head uncontrollably. Whatever last shred of sympathy I had for her vanished instantly. Back when I pursued her for 3 whole years, only to be rejected each time. Then, the night before my birthday, Chloe suddenly came to see me with injuries on her face. When I asked who had hurt her, she claimed it was from a fall. There were already some rumors circulating around campus at the time, but I was so blinded by love that I didn't care about any of it. When Chloe agreed to go out with me, I got carried away and immediately made our relationship public. Now that I think about it, she was just using me as a shield after getting reprimanded, to prevent that professor's wife from coming after her again. How stupid I was. I turned and walked into the bedroom, Chloe's sobbing sounds coming from outside. Right now, I just want to leave. And, I want to change my tombstone too. Where is my lawyer? I paid a fortune for this, why isn't it working? I sat despondently in the bedroom while Chloe's wailing in the living room made my head throb. I simply closed my eyes to rest. It wasn't like I could leave anyway. Chloe had been completely listless these past few days, as public opinion kept swirling around this love triangle. Someone even dug up rumors that I was already dead, which instantly caused an uproar online. The legitimate wife was driven to death by the mistress. Female executive of a well-known company had an affair with her work partner while married. As soon as this article was published, netizens went crazy, with a flood of scathing comments online. The first to bear the brunt was the official website of Chloe's company. How bold your company is to let such a person be an executive. That woman is clearly a party girl. Poor guy got cheated on and now he's terminally ill too. Chloe, total green tea bitch. Back in school, she got beat up for being a homewrecker, then turned around and settled for some poor backup guy. And that Leo? He's no saint either. Trashy guy with a trashy girl, match made in hell. As I looked at the comments on my phone, I felt nothing but calm. The affection I felt in my youth has dwindled to almost nothing by now. I didn't want to inquire further about Chloe and Leo's past. I just couldn't bear to stay here any longer. When the police arrived, Chloe was dead drunk. It was only after her company couldn't reach her that they called the authorities. She was taken to the hospital, and like a ghost, I drifted along after her. Chloe swallowed the pills and ended her life at home, clutching my diary tightly in her hands. Fortunately, she didn't die. The moment she opened her eyes, her pupils suddenly contracted, and she abruptly leaped toward me. Ethan, it's you, isn't it? I was startled. Could she actually see me now? He's already dead. Who said that? I turned around and realized it was my lawyer. At last, it's here. Miss Miller, I'm the attorney commissioned by Mr. Cole. There's a matter I need to inform you about. Chloe grew agitated the moment she finished listening to the lawyer's words. Impossible. Chloe fell to the ground, her eyes brimming with shock. I haven't divorced him yet. He'd better not even think about leaving me. Miss Miller, Mr. Cole has already entrusted me with handling the divorce case, it just hasn't gone to court yet. He said, let him go, and let yourself go too. Regarding your inappropriate relationship with Mr. Leo, we have gathered all the evidence. Mr. Cole's position is that he hopes you will no longer use your marital ties to bind him. Chloe slumped to the ground and let out a hoarse laugh after what felt like an eternity. Ethan, I guess when disappointment piles up enough, you won't even give me a single chance anymore, huh? Mr. Cole gave you 100 chances, it's you who failed to treasure them. My lawyer was hired by me. He's expensive but worth every penny. When I found him, he initially refused to take my case. It wasn't until I mortgaged all my remaining surgery money in this apartment that he agreed, just so I could sever every last tie with Chloe. Looking back now, my choice was right. He's sharp-tongued, brutally straightforward. Chloe refused to believe it, growing hysterical, while my lawyer merely left a few documents behind before reminding her, this house has been mortgaged and will soon be auctioned off. I hope you can clean up and move out as soon as possible. After the lawyer left, Chloe looked at the documents, laughing through her tears. That was the wool I left behind. When I learned Chloe and Leo were together, I knew I couldn't go on. This marriage has always been me putting in all the effort, while Chloe remains perpetually lukewarm. 3 years into our marriage, we still don't have children. She always insists her career comes first, that kids can wait. I like children and want to bring some life into the house, but she's unwilling, so I don't push it. Seeing her and Leo going everywhere openly without restraint, I felt jealous, but she told me not to be so petty, saying it was all for work. I kept giving in step by step, only to find them pushing their luck further. Chloe refused to divorce because if the marriage of a listed company executive were to fail, her career would be affected. All her efforts were indeed only for herself. I'm just a tool. I hate it, but there's nothing I can do. Fortunately, I'm sick now. Death is my only escape. Watching Chloe torment herself with regret and guilt, I actually didn't feel any pain at all. The lawyer proved to be a highly efficient person. Very soon, my house was auctioned off, forcing Chloe to move out. But I never expected that she would actually buy the house back at full price. On the day she moved back, Chloe appeared online, openly admitting her relationship with Leo, confessing to the affair, and exposing a series of Leo's shady dealings. The two engaged in a public feud, with Chloe launching a kamikaze attack, revealing all the industry's insider secrets. Even the company she worked for came under investigation as a result. Leo was fired, and the company underwent a massive reshuffle, suffering heavy losses. Netizens watched the commotion, occasionally tossing in a comment or two either way. Chloe had brought this on herself. After finishing all that, she clutched my diary, caressed my memorial photo, and swallowed a whole bottle of sleeping pills. Before dying, she gazed at my shadow, and suddenly, a light flickered in her eyes. As for me, I turned away and drifted out. I was free. After Chloe's death, the lawyer came to handle the arrangements. Thankfully, her will granted my request for a separate burial. The headstone was changed, setting me free. I heaved a long sigh. Chloe, in this life I truly met with misfortune in love. May we never cross paths again in the next life. The end.